Quinn, it probably feels repetitive a bit at this point, but how do you feel going into tonight, and how more prepared do you feel given the last time out?
0 days practice versus 2. I think I mentioned it before. This is a team that has played a lot of games this year relative to where we are on the schedule now. So there's a balance between finding things that we've been doing that have been good for us, and trying to discern how we can impact those things positively and try to do them more. And then there's other things that I feel like we want to try to implement, adjust, and that's something, having film from a game is helpful in that process, and obviously practicing some of those things, but being able to do that, that's a process of becoming, whether it's creating some different habits or new habits. I'm learning some of the communication system, and the team is learning some of the things that I feel like they need to understand, as far as the actual communication of certain calls and things like that. So there's a lot going on. I knew that was going to be the case. The guys have been unbelievably receptive, which I think is really important, because we're battling the fact that some of these things take some time, and then the fact that we want to win at the same time. But I think, I've said before, I don't think they're mutually exclusive, but there are times when it really requires a balance where we don't want to add or change things that we've done that have been successful. So, like I said, at the same time, having the film, for me, maybe more than the team, being able to see a game, to have a game plan, and then anytime, I've always felt competition allows you, to look at yourself, and there's some basic things that I want to make our team aware of and emphasize, and hopefully do more and do better and see progress. But that progress, doesn't come. Sometimes it doesn't come as quickly as you want, but you have to grind. There's not many teams that probably are grinding this time of the year, so I'm really trying to be conscious of that as well, as far as saving guys' legs and having us be in a position where on a game night we're not just continuing to prepare, but also be fresh enough to compete and have that as well.
After the Washington game, you talked about during timeouts and things like that, you would talk to Trey and talk to DeJounte about what they want to do. Do you kind of expect to continue in that, or do you feel more comfortable with running more of what you would like to see run?
Well, having literally no practices, I think it's kind of an unusual situation, to say the least. So, in some of those things, that's also, I think, an opportunity. I like to know what players think, but the options of what they want to do, I think, begin to change in a certain respect. And, as I said, if there's things that have some comfort level in, whether it's a play, those in particular, certain situations, I felt like it's diminishing returns to try to adjust, and there's other situations that may be more big picture, where we want to continue, to do things to drive the ball, break the pain, to have multiple passes in a possession. But you generate that a number of ways. It's not always on the front end of the possession. It's hard to go side to side a couple times in the NBA. There's a 24-second clock, and so a lot of times that means trying to just get an advantage and for guys to space where we're capable of making passes and continue to get better that way, and not to fixate on that. If Trey comes down, we play a pick and roll, and they go under, he's open, he shoots it. Let's not overthink that.
When you look at a guy like Dave, especially with the way that he's been playing this season, I know you can't stop a guy like that completely, but how do you slow him down and play that team defense you want to see?
I've unfortunately experienced Dave for a number of years, 4 times a year. So I think I have a keen understanding of how difficult it is to guard him.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I think you have to understand that, you know, you may do something very, very well, you know, something that in the game plan you're executing and you'll still score. And then there's other things that, you know, he makes adjustments on the way you're playing him. He's also very unselfish. You know, he'll make the right play, but he also picks his spots. Sometimes the right play is, you know, backing up a couple feet and, you know, making a play on his own. But, you know, he creates, you know, a lot as well. And I think his range, his ability to, you know, play pick and roll, come off handoffs, drive the ball. He's just a unique player. And, you know, I think he has a presence on the court, you know, that is unique, the level of poise, but also kind of, you know, the leadership is subtle at sometimes, but it's there, and it's there all the time, and you can see it. So he's one of those guys that I know you have tremendous respect for, and he also can give you some nightmares.